Welcome to Downtown Sports. My name is Downtown Stephen Brown, and as promised, in today's video, we will be talking about Timothy Liljegren. But before we get started, I just wanted to say, guys, thank you so much for 200 subscribers. I feel like this is something that we're building together, so help me help you guys out and click that like button down below. Now, there's some people that watch Timothy Liljegren, and they'll tell you that there are elements in his game that are missing and that are not particularly at the NHL level. But then there are other people that'll tell you that this kid has the tools to be what Toronto's needed for the past couple of years. Now, the AHL is very secretive about their advanced metrics, so there's not a lot to go off of, and just this hockey DB page alone doesn't do justice to the work that the player has put in his rookie year and then his sophomore year. So we're going to be compiling quotes from a couple of different people in the industry and then formulating our own and forecasting where Timothy Liljegren fits in on this team and moving forward. Now, I know what I said about his hockey DB page, but it's just up on the screen for a visual right now. There's some context that I needed to provide about his sophomore season that's going to be really helpful in understanding his development. He started the season really slow, but then in November really turned it on, and then in and around the New Year suffered a high ankle sprain, which kept him out of competing at the World Junior Championships, and Kyle Dubas is actually on the record saying that Liljegren was on the path to maybe seeing time with the Maple Leafs, similarly to what Travis Dermott did in his sophomore AHL year. He saw an increased role on the penalty kill with the Marlies after returning from injury, and a lot will tell you what Liljegren's true skill is doesn't really show up on traditional box scores, and that's getting the puck out of his own zone and getting it into the other team's zone, which for a 19-year-old defenseman is a really important stage in their development that's crucial at the NHL level, because we all know what happens when you can't get the puck out of your own zone. We've watched it for several years now. Earlier on in the video, I stated that some people in the industry aren't as high on Liljegren, and some people seem to believe that it's a perception issue. Now, for August Hockey Talk, I thought that this was really interesting between Jeff Fayette and Scott Wheeler on Twitter the other day. Jeff basically suggesting that because Rasmus Sandin is so good, that people have kind of turned sour on Timothy Liljegren, that just because he's not as good as Rasmus Sandin, then he must be bad. And Scott's kind of defending himself here. Scott kind of states that he thinks that Liljegren could have top 4 potential, but is closer to a third pairing defenseman. And Jeff has him pegged as a high-end top 4 guy. And I mean, both guys aren't necessarily right or wrong in this situation. If we split the difference, Timothy Liljegren is still going to be a really good defenseman in this league, and I think that we should just give him an opportunity to show us that. So that brings us to my opinion. Now, don't get too mad at me for what you're seeing up on the screen right now. I will do a full video dedicated to an opening night lineup, but this is just something that was quick and thrown together to show what a lineup with Timothy Liljegren at the beginning of the season could possibly look like. Now, I mentioned earlier in the video that he did spend a lot of time on the penalty kill last year after he got back from injury, and the Leafs did lose Ron Hainsey and Nikita Zaitsev, and they don't have Travis Dermott to start the year, so that's not an experiment that Mike Babcock can make at the beginning of the year. So Timothy Liljegren might win that spot just because he does have some former experience doing it, and he is a right shot defenseman. But he's going to have a strong training camp regardless. Now, this is what the Leafs' lineup could look like a little bit later on in the season, and I think that Liljegren has an opportunity to be called up in and around Christmas time or New Year's, like he was given last year, but he ended up getting injured, and this is just to give the Leafs an opportunity to gauge on what they need to do come trade deadline time. Is Liljegren ready, or do they need to go out and get a guy? Now, before we go, there is this little fun tool that we could use. It's an NHLE calculator. So basically what it says, translation factors are used to create high-level estimates of how a player's scoring rate will change as they come to the NHL from other leagues. So for Timothy Liljegren's, we're going to input 43 games played last season and 15 points, and we're going to update that to 14 points in an 82-game NHL season. Now, that's not all too impressive by any means, but when you consider that he got off to a slow start and didn't play on the power play very much, it's not too bad of a number. But thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to click that like button if you did like the video and subscribe for more, because more is always on the way. And guys, as always, take care.